leaving Shannon alone to parse through everything that had happened in the past day while the world outside fell apart. That her best friend, Liv, calm, steady, annoyingly organized Liv, was secretly some kind of scroll who had the ability to open portals to another world through the power of a back tattoo, of all things, was ridiculous enough. That Liv had befriended a group of runaway royals from said other world and was also on the run from monsters and knights and who knew what else, it was a lot for Shannon to keep track of. Like, a whole lot. It was almost too much to be believed if Shannon hadn't been an actual witness to all of it. She still felt maybe she was insane or dreaming. But all she had to do was part the blinds of the hospital room to see the sky and know that the craziness was real and far from over. Whatever was going on outside, it had something to do with the portals and with Liv. But Liv wasn't around to fix things right now, and Shannon couldn't follow or even call her. She doubted the magical other world, whose name she could barely pronounce, had Verizon cell towers. Liv had left her behind. Left her to deal with this whole mess. Not that Shannon had any idea what to do. She'd stayed with Merrick the day before, like she promised Liv she would. But right after she'd gone home for a much-needed nap and shower, everything went to hell. It was like the whole city had ground to a halt. Even Shannon's rational left-brained parents, who never raised their voices at her even when she stole the car, wore miniskirts to church, or dropped out of advanced calculus to take drama, had genuine panic in their eyes. They sat with Shannon as the freaky orange sky turned darker, but not completely black, that night, and the three of them hardly slept at all. The next morning, they decided to skip work, which scared Shannon more than anything else. But Shannon had promised to look after Merrick, and she couldn't shake the urge to do something. So that morning, she'd left her parents a letter explaining that she went to check on Liv, a lie, and would be back soon. Hopefully true. So now, here she was. A TV on the wall across from Merrick's bed was on, but muted. Shannon reached for the remote and turned up the volume. A poor free news anchor with a helmet of shiny blonde hair had her very serious news face on. She was talking via satellite to a balding man who looked like he'd had maybe 3 too many cups of coffee and a stern-looking man with thick eyebrows and a buzz cut. The ticker at the bottom of the screen read, "Environmental Catastrophe in L.A.?" and then below that, "Government Considering FEMA Response." "So, are you definitely saying this is an effect of climate change?" the news anchor asked, a tiny furrow appearing in the skin between her perfectly plucked brows. Buzz-cut man scoffed, while balding man put his jittery hands in front of him. No, I'm not definitely saying anything," balding man replied. "At this juncture, it would be irresponsible to ascribe any one cause. But you're not ruling out climate change. I don't think we can rule out anything, but it seems unlikely that global warming would cause such radical changes overnight or even in an instant as many reports indicate. But what else could cause such abnormalities in the sky and weather? Well, it could be many things." Beads of sweat dripped down into the balding man's collar. Shannon felt a jolt of sympathy for him. Buzzcut man took his cue to cut in. "While the scientists are dithering back and forth, Amy, what we should be focusing on is how to contain a worsening situation in Los Angeles. A military presence is needed to stem the panic." "Loud, girl." Shannon muted the television again and spun toward the scratchy voice. Merrick was awake, his eyes on her. She scooted her plastic chair closer to the edge of his bed. "Welcome back." "Where am I?" Merrick asked, struggling to rise. "It's so white." "You're at a hospital on Wilshire. The doctors have been treating you for smoke inhalation." Merrick's hand slowly rose to the bandages around his head. He winced. "And a head wound." When Merrick brought his hand back down, he saw the small tube sticking out of his right arm, just above the elbow. The tubing led from his arm to a small fluid sac hanging from a stand by his bed. His eyes widened, and he reached to pull the tubing from his skin. Shannon moved quickly to stop him.